Okay guys, so we have learnt about check. The next thing to learn about is checkmate. Now checkmate is a type of check, okay? This is a checkmate position. As you can see, the king is currently being attacked. It's being attacked by this rook, okay? Attack simply means that, in theory, the rook would be able to take or move to this square, but since it's the king, remember we can never take the king. So the king is attacked by the rook. Checkmate is simply when you're in check, but you cannot get out of check. So in the previous lesson, when we discussed check, we discussed A, B, C. Those are the three different ways that you can get out of check. So let's get rid of this rook here for a second. We could do A. We could avoid the check by moving the king out of the range of the rook. Okay? If I had a buddy of mine over here, this knight could come in, jump into the position, into the range of the rook. This is a block move. Now I'm blocking the check. And let's say this knight was actually here, 2 squares to the left. Then the knight can jump in and capture the rook. So those are the 3 different ways that we can get out of check. But the position is this. And to be a bit precise, there will always be 2 kings on the board because the kings never get captured. So let's put a black king here. And this is checkmate. And the reason why is I cannot do A, B, or C. So if I try to avoid, if I try to move my king, everywhere that I move my king, you'll see that it's actually in check, okay? So it's in check by this rook if I move it along this line, and if I move up to the 2nd rank, then it will be in check from this rook, okay? So simply that is what checkmate is. It's a check that is inescapable, and checkmate actually ends the game. That is how you win the game. It's one way to win the game. There are 2 other ways to win a game of chess. You can win if your opponent resigns, which is that basically they surrender, they say, well done, well played, I resign. And the other way to win is if you're playing with a clock, a chess clock, which often people in tournaments, they play with a clock, is if you lose on time. If all your time runs out, then that's another way to lose the game. But definitely the most exciting and fun way to win a game is by checkmate. Okay guys, so I showed you one checkmate using 2 rooks, but there are many, many, many different checkmates that you can see on the board, and I will just simply show you a few now. So this is a checkmate using the queen and a piece that defends the queen. A very common pattern, you'll see it a lot. It's called the kiss of death. That's because the queen is right next to the king. That's where the kiss comes from, and the death comes from the fact that it is actually a checkmate. So you can see this on in many different ways. This is also the same style of checkmate. Once again, the queen is 1 square away from the king. It stops the king from moving anywhere because the queen is so powerful. And the king cannot take the queen because it will be check from the knight in this case. So the knight protects or defends the queen. Here is another kiss of death style checkmate, this time involving a pawn. Yes, this pawn over here is doing a very important job because, sorry, I'm just putting the king there to be accurate. The pawn defends the queen. You cannot take this queen because it will be check from the pawn. If I put this pawn just 1 square to the side, then the king can take the queen. Okay? And actually this game would end in a draw.